Hi everybody, drawninjakc here, and one of the most frequent questions I get asked about my anime glass art is what materials do I use for this, what materials do I use for that. You know, it comes through so many times that I decided to make a video simply based on all the materials that I use for my anime glass art. Not only that, but stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll tell you how you can win a box full of all the materials that I use for my anime glass painting. That's right. What I'm going to do is create a anime glass painting starter kit, and I will give it away to one lucky subscriber. Okay, first things first, let's start with the frames that I use. Now these frames are just, I think, the best thing ever invented when it comes to anime glass paintings, because they don't have a border around the glass, which means like your regular frame has the borders around, and then when you do the art on there, the border actually covers some of the art. The brand that I use is Format, but there are other brands out there that are just as good. It's just a front loader frame, and the good thing about the front loader frame is that you get to see more of the art. And they call this a front loader frame because unlike a regular frame, you put the picture that you're trying to display through the back, but on this frame, you remove the glass, put the picture in, and then place the glass back on there, right? That's usually allowing for a lot more space for the picture or the artwork. So that's why I like to use these front loader picture frames. And this particular one, this particular brand, I'm not sure about the other brands because I haven't used any other brands, but they come with the little notch at the back there where you can hang the frame up on a wall, or this piece right here where you can put in on that little notch and you can display the frame on, like, you know, your mantle or your desk or what have you. So these are definitely the frames to get if you're going to do the anime glass painting. Okay, secondly, all right, I'm going to make a choice here, okay? And I'm going to end the debate once and for all. Oil-based Sharpie or Identi-Pen. Now, when I first started out, I used the Identi-Pen because I thought it was the best thing for the anime glass art. And in my opinion, it is about the second best thing for anime glass art. The first best thing that I've used, and now my go-to for anime glass art, is the oil-based Sharpie, particularly the extra fine point. You get nice fine points with those. And they don't really, you know, they're very opaque and they last a long time. Now the thing with the Identi-Pen is also very opaque and they last a long time, but over time when you use the broad nib, and the Identi-Pen comes with a thin nib and a thick nib, right? So when you use the Identi-Pen over time, the nib spreads and the lines get broader and less opaque. Okay, so that's one of the things that I didn't like about the Identi-Pen, because it loses its sturdiness as time goes by, whereas the point or the nib for the Sharpie maintains its integrity, as opposed to the Identi-Pen, which the line width gets a little broad and also less opaque. All right, so if I had to choose one, the final decision is the oil-based Sharpie for your line work. Brushes. This is actually the first brush I used for my anime glass paintings, and I kind of stuck with it. This is from a brand called Princeton Select, and these brushes have very fine nibs for fine details, and also, you know, they come with broader nibs for the broader areas. But for me, since I've been using these brushes for my anime glass paintings, I have never really looked back to use another brush because these are perfect. So if you are gonna get brushes for your anime glass paintings, I would suggest the Princeton Select. Okay, now the paint. All right, anime glass painting would not be anything without the paint. Without the paint, it'll just be anime glass. Boom, boom. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Okay, so here's the deal. The Blick Studio acrylic paint is my go-to paint for the anime glass painting. And this is from bigblick.com. And they make their own brand of acrylic paints, and for me this just works really well. They have a different array of colors like you won't believe. So I get the 16 ounce bottles, or I get the tubes as well. And the thing with the 16 ounce bottles is that they're very, very thick. So a lot of the time, see how thick that is? So I don't only use it for my anime glass painting, but I use it for my regular painting. But when it comes this thick, you can water it down to your own consistency for your own use for your anime glass painting. Because this, although it's very thick, it may be too thick for anime glass paintings, okay? So usually what I would do is mix it up, water it down slightly where it can flow a lot better, but still opaque, and it's good to go. And now the ones in the tube, right? They are less opaque, and they pretty much I can use right out of the tube. I don't have to water them down too much because for some reason they're a lot more liquid than the ones in the jars, okay? So Blick Studio Acrylic is my go-to paint for my anime glass art. Again, you can get this on digblake.com, and they are awesome. Okay, now for containers. Now this big container, which is a 16 ounce container, I use this to mix colors so that I can have the color ready at the consistency that I want it to. So if say like the yellow paint, like I just showed you, is too thick, I would mix it in here, put the water in it, shake it up so that it's the right consistency, and this way I can always use it without having to constantly keep mixing. Now the smaller container I use for when I'm using a color that I have to mix that I don't really use a lot. So if I'll mix it like avocado, like an anime character has an avocado color somewhere on them, and then I'll mix avocado, but I don't usually use avocado. So after I mixed it, I still have this avocado left in the container without having to waste the paint by throwing it away. So you never know when I have to use avocado again or whatever. So instead of throwing away the paint, I mix it in these containers. This way that I can store them, and they're easy to store, they're very small, but they will also keep you from having to waste paint on your project. Okay, a syringe. All right, now what is this syringe for? I'll tell you what this syringe is for. The syringe is for this, the Pin Nib Squeeze Bottle. Now this is the piece de resistance of my anime glass paintings, because, and I say that because I use this a lot to do finer details, and what happens is I use the pin as like a pen, and I squeeze the paint onto the glass art, and it gives me a lot of control. It also I'm able to do like corners very well and easily with this Pin Nib Squeeze Bottle. So that's something I kind of developed in my anime glass painting, and now I use these Pin Nib Squeeze bottles for almost all my anime glass paintings. Okay, now how do you get this? How do you get the paint in the bottle? Well, here's how you get the paint in the bottle. Use the syringe, and of course, when you have the paint mixed already, you can take the paint out of the bottle, out of the container with the syringe, right, like that, and then you put it into the Pin Nib Squeeze Bottle, like that. Okay, so now here's the thing. Now in the past, I've told you to have a pin ready so that when you need to use the Pin Nib Squeeze Bottle and it gets clogged, that you can just put the pin in there, unclog it, and get to work. But here is a way to even prevent that from happening. Now these Pin Nib Squeeze Bottles come with these little caps on them. So whenever you're using the Pin Nib Squeeze bottles and you're not using it anymore, just like a cap on a marker, put the cap back on, and it will prevent it from drying out in the flow area there of the pin, and you won't have to use the pin all the time. You won't have to use the pin all the time to declog that hole. All you have to do is take it off and get to work. So remember, when you are using the Pin Nib Squeeze Bottle and you're finished using it, put the cap back on, make sure it's on securely, and then you're good to go. Now, very important about the Pin Nib Squeeze Bottle as well is that it's very important to have the right consistency of paint. So if the paint is too thick, you're gonna find yourself squeezing the bottle and your arms are gonna just like spaz out on you because you're squeezing so hard and nothing's coming out. So when you do put the paint in there, okay, try it out. And then if it's not to where you can squeeze it out easily enough, just add some more water. Even with the syringe, just take the syringe, put it in some water, and put just slightly enough water. Shake it up, put the cap back on there, and then try it again. And you do this until you find the right consistency to where the paint is thick enough, but it also flows very gently. Okay, now this bad boy is the secret to all my perfect lines. This is the Exacto Blade, and the Exacto Blade is very, very crucial to making perfect lines, because when you do make these lines with the or Based Sharpie or the Pen, sometimes you don't make perfect lines. And sometimes also with the paint goes out of the line, or the paint, escapes. So what you can do with these is wait till the paint dries, and of course the sharp edge, you can scrape off the excess paint to make the line that you may have messed up look perfect. Okay, so now you know the secret to the success of my anime glass paintings. So here's how one of you guys can win a box full of all the materials that I use to do my anime glass painting. Now, understand that this is international, okay? So even if you're in Pakistan or Canada or whatever, you are eligible to win. And it's very simple. I'm gonna say share and like the video, but I know you guys already do that, so I don't even have to say that, right? But what you have to do is leave a comment in the comment section, and you do have to like the video though. I want this video to get the likes so that the algorithm sees that there's a lot going on here. So like the video and leave a comment telling me why you think you should win the anime glass painting starter kit, okay? And if this goes well, I may just give away a few of those every now and then, every time I do an anime glass video. Let's see how this goes though, okay? So if you want to win, or you want to be eligible to win, leave a comment letting me know why you deserve it, all right? Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned a lot from it. This is drawninjakc saying I will see you next time. Happy glass art painting thingy jiggy. Wow!